Hi. I'm back. I had to reformat the memory card on my memory card, my camera, because it kept showing 0 memory, and I didn't have anything in there, and at least I hope I didn't. Could have sworn I took everything off, and I even clicked when I put the memory card in my computer. I clicked on every single file, and I was just like, what's going on? And being the relentless person that I am, I even looked at a video, an hour and a half or almost 2 hour long video on how to use this machine because I couldn't find my booklet. I don't even remember if this camera came with a booklet. So I, of course, YouTubed how to, right? Like how to figure out my camera, and I changed a few settings. I'm really excited about what it could potentially do because I hadn't looked into that. But now that I have more time, I'm going to be playing around with it tomorrow actually, because I will be visiting a good friend and taking pictures of her family. I do this, I've done this every time she has a baby, and it's kind of like my welcome baby gift to her. And so as her family grows, I do pictures for her and her family, family photos basically. So we're gonna do that tomorrow, and I'm really excited about that. Excuse the noise, it's super windy. It's just been crazy super windy all day long. So I'm really excited that my camera works now. I don't know what happened there, but so I know I talked about, getting a massage. I'm still working on trying to sleep, only because my mind is just kind of like going creatively. I'm coming up with new t-shirt designs. I'm just coming up with stuff. And so I when I get into that mode, I just kind of keep going, and then I put music on and I'm dancing, and it's just very grounding for me and enjoyable for me. And I need to, I think, I know I need to make sure I get the sleep that I need. But aside from that, I'm keeping myself really busy. My timeline. It is January 19th. January 19th. And so I had a situation come up recently where I reconnected with an individual, and we this is an individual that, again, also triggered. I mean, I told you, I'm no picnic. People trigger me. And I think I've mentioned before, there's a history of just intergenerational trauma in my family. And over the years, of course, it's gotten better. And this is the year that I'm seeing my siblings and I, and even my whole family, like, we're breaking cycles as best as we can. We're becoming more aware, and that's always hopeful and really great to see and experience. And so I reconnected with this person and in my family, and we were able to hash out a few things, and it got a little heated because I really, this whole speaking my truth task has continues to be an ongoing theme for me, making sure I'm being heard, that I'm being respected. And I got the impression with this individual that I connected that wasn't the case, and I had to stop the conversation. I mean, I had to be assertive and literally said, stop, just stop, because I knew that the conversation was not going anywhere the way it was set up. And I finally asked more questions, and I said, what are you really here to say? Because it's clear that my truth is not what you want to hear. And so we were able to get down to the bottom of it. We were able to really do some more healing work, which was really helpful, I think, for our connection, and really address some of the underlying issues. And and I feel that we were able to get to a mutual understanding of what my needs were. And this theme again of separation, when I'm choosing to not see separation as separation, right? It's just the space between us. And then this person was still struggling with it, and then this concept came to mind, right? Thinking about kids, how they do life. And I thought, it's like a timeout. It's like a timeout that I was putting myself in. I put myself in timeout when I was noticing I was continuously getting triggered. And I had to put myself in timeout, right? When you put a kiddo in timeout, you're creating space from the situation and giving the kiddo an opportunity to sit with their emotions and reflect and I mean, they can only reflect so much. They'll still be angry, or maybe they're just caught up in the emotion depending on their age, and then the parent comes, sits down with them, ideally, right? Sits down with them, okay, let's talk about what happened and what can we do differently and how are you feeling, and this is how, ideal situation. So I had to explain it in that way, that I took an adult timeout and that I needed to learn how to interact with people who were triggering me, and that I've been able to identify what those underlying issues were for me, but I may not completely be, or my next step in my learning is, how do I continue to do life with this person, knowing what I know and trying to practice what I can try to practice, where we can still do life together, right? Because it's all about connections. There's no true separation, right? And so I think I mentioned it before about boundaries, and sometimes we have to set boundaries in situations that are toxic, right? Or really unhealthy to a certain degree, and everyone kind of has that opportunity to rate and gauge it for themselves. Is at what level is this where I need how much space, right? How much of these walls do I need to put up until I'm ready to bring them back down? So these walls are not going to stay there forever, ideally, right? Depending on how one does the healing work. So this individual, we were able to still get through the day and had a good time together, there were some awkward silences, but we're also both same sign. So I think we both value, our alone time and even when we're together, and so it was a nice balanced where we were interacting, where we had our alone time, where constructs came up, taboo items, right? This person is concerned of my choosing to embrace tarot reading, and again, I just kind of shared where my standpoint was, and the how I'm using it as a tool, really, right? And just really being open to continuing to explore and question things. And so part of the questioning is also embracing it, right? How am I going to know what questions to ask if I don't fully embrace it or understand it? And I won't understand it if I don't try it, right? If I don't try it, I'm going to continuously judge. And I'm going to be judging from a standpoint of, I don't know what's going on. I'm judging out of fear of the unknown. And so I think once I worded it in a way where it was more like, I just have questions and I'm noticing a theme, I'm noticing a pattern, and I'm noticing that it's been helpful. And that's what I'm choosing to do. And I'm choosing to surround myself with people who are going to be supportive, who are going to help me move forward, who are going to be positive. And knowing that, of course, not everyone's going to act and respond like me, but if I can see, where the other person is coming from, that will help any interaction that I have with anyone. Coincidentally, I did do my tarot spread for the week. I think I mentioned I only do it once a week for myself. And it's laid out with like past, present, future. But it's really set up for the week. So the first column is technically the first part of the week. The middle column is the middle part of the week, and then the end column is the end part of the week. But I also set up past, present, future. And I have chosen to leave it spread out so that during the week I can go back and reflect on it. And coincidentally, the one for the first one talked about making amends and addressing things, from my past, and speaking my truth, right? My voice. And so it was just interesting how it all kind of connected, really. I learned a few things in my connections lately with people. I learned a little bit more about my past, things that I didn't know, really. I had no idea that I was very silent growing up, that I was very silent. I didn't speak much except for yes, dad, no, mom, yes, mom, yes. It was usually yes, mom, yes, mom, yes, dad, and I don't remember, doing that. But this person highlighted that for me, that I've always struggled speaking my truth. And so that was good to know, in terms of just, I do remember always being an observer. I do remember always just taking in what was going on around me and making mental notes for myself, like, okay, this person did this, note to self, don't do that, and just kind of on survival mode also, like just learning what to do and what not to do so that I can move forward. I do remember that, but I don't remember not talking. Well, kind of. Yeah. I mean, I do remember being told that from a young age, I wasn't very social. I kept to myself, and that I was content just sitting on the couch with a pad of paper, a pencil, drawing pad, and a book. So I learned that about myself. I also learned that I always been a daydreamer, apparently. I reconnected with someone, and we were cooking, like we were experimenting, and it came up that I was daydreaming as I was cooking, and I was supposed to be watching, we made tortillas, but out of not flour or corn. Like we went into this other cool little shop that I'll put in the description box. I love Indian food. I love Middle Eastern food. And so we found this little shop that sells all this stuff. So I'm really excited because that's going to be my new go-to grocery shop for seeds and just, like turmeric powder. I bought that, and I'm incorporating that, and just a lot of like other healthy things that, I've been exposed to that I want to start incorporating just for my own internal health, right? I talked about that was one of my focuses, just my physical health. And so I'm grateful that it's literally like walking distance from where I'm at, so I can probably walk there. And so we decided to experiment and see if we can do tortillas, because the regular corn tortillas caused me to break out, and I realized it's the corn. The corn causes inflammation, and so I feel like I need to sneeze. Oh yeah, I need to sneeze, and it's like not going away. So the corn causes inflammation, and I was breaking out. So oh my gosh, give me a second. Oh, excuse me, sorry. And so it was successful. That what we created, and how it came out. And so but she mentioned, so the tortilla was on the comal thingy. I don't know what it's called, like the burner or whatever, but it was burning, and I didn't realize it because I was like in La La Land. And then she called my name. She's like, "Yuritsa, the tortilla." I'm like, "Oh snap, sorry." And I like turned around, I'm like, "I'm sorry, mom, I was like totally daydreaming." She's like, "Todavía?" And I just started laughing. And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's just like, "Eso no se te ha quitado," like that, you haven't gotten rid of that. You've always daydream. She said when you were little. And she's like, and I had a hard time getting you to do stuff because you would get caught daydreaming. And I'm just like, oh, I didn't know that. I mean, I knew it. I mean, I knew I would daydream creatively and stuff, but I didn't think it was that bad, because I always did well in school, but I love school. You know, school is always like, I love learning. So I never thought it was an issue, but apparently at home with daily tasks, it was. So that was funny to learn about myself, you know. Yeah, but anyway, so that's what's been going on this week. I'm gonna go see some family. They've been wanting me to go spend the night and just sleep over. A cool thing that I did sign up for was a personal tarot reading from someone that I've heard great things about, and she did give me permission to record. I just haven't asked her yet if I can post it, so I was gonna plan on letting her know after to see, and if not, then at least I can keep it for myself. You know, I'm gonna do two done. One of them is a Celtic one. I've heard of it, never done one. And then the other one is a year one, a New Year's one, like for the whole year. And so one of them, we're only going to like Zoom for one of them, and then the other one she's gonna do on her own and do a write-up for me, which is great because, you know, I'm more visual. So that'll be on Thursday, and then after that I'm going to do the overnight, and then after that I'm dedicating the whole weekend to just Spain, filling out the application. I was able to connect with an old coworker or boss kind of, that I worked with her in the ESL class actually many moons ago. It was actually I was telling her today because I was able to connect with her today through FaceTime, which was so much fun. I love her. I've always loved her. She's always had a special place in my heart, and I think of her fondly. And I always felt like she saw what I was going through during that time in my life, and just very supportive. And exposed me to a lot of great things, and she's one of the reasons why I've really been inspired, you know, to kind of pass that on for my nieces and nephews, and just trying to expose them to things, you know, different experiences. And so I'm grateful to her and love her dearly. And so I was really excited to see her through FaceTime. And I mean, we were both kind of battling how to use Zoom on the MacBook, because I'm not a Mac friendly person. So that's another challenge for me, and I'm struggling with my Zoom account, so I don't know, I need to figure that out. But anyways, we were able to connect. I didn't know that she actually lived in Spain for a year, so she's gonna help me just kind of figure that out. Like, I want to hear her stories about the different places that she's lived in, and then in my other connections too, I found out that there's other people that I know that went to Spain also and explored. And so I've been reaching out and just wanting feedback on, you know, which parts of Spain they're familiar with, and what they recommend in terms of the region that I'm going to apply for. And a good question that came up for me was, well, do I want to stay in the city or do I want to be more rural? And my response was anywhere where I can have access to a college, university with professors that I can interview, and but also have the flexibility to go into other countries while I'm there. That's going to be a big thing for me during those 7 months, is to travel within that area to other countries, just to see how they do mental health, how they incorporate spirituality, if they're familiar with spiritual awakenings, and how they look at that, and just how they do life differently, that promotes this whole body healing, really, you know. So I'm really gonna dive in being a learner, even though the state of what our country is in. I hope and can only pray to God that he will keep me safe, and that he will put the people that that need to be in my path, he will put them in my path, and that I'll just continue learning and growing. And I know it won't be completely easy, but when you have God's back, you can do anything. So yeah, I don't anticipate it being difficult, but I just gotta do my part, right? Be smart about it. And so the application is due next week. So I really want to finalize all of that and not have to worry about it last minute. Although I will be on the computer at 11:59 the night before, getting ready to click submit to be one of the first ones to apply. So that happened, or that's happening. So I do feel like I'm still in the in-between, and I think a lot of these videos speak to that. I don't think, because a lot of things are still unknown. It's not a for sure thing. I need to start revisiting some other financial opportunities and just kind of ground myself a little bit more from this little flighty daydreaming, part of myself that I've just kind of been embracing as part of my self-care, right? Is imagining and yeah. So yeah, I think maybe this next chapter will just kind of be called the in-between, because I don't know. I mean, at least for the next few months, I'll know in April. We're at the end of January, 3 months. In 3 months, I'll know if I get accepted. Yay. So yeah. I think that's it for today. I can't think of any. Oh, I'm planting. I'm gardening too. I'm going to try to. I am determined to get a green thumb, and so I asked for some help and for another individual that I know is very much really good at that. So she's helping me with that, and I'm grateful to her for that. And but it's super windy. It's been cold, so I had to bring in the one plant that is growing, which is my sweet potato. Remember I told you the sweet potato? That sucker shot right up with like leaves. It's so pretty, but with the wind and it staying out, I think I'm gonna have to bring her inside and not leave her outside at night because it is too cold. And we're still technically in winter, so I'm surprised that she's like even growing during this. This person that's helping me was surprised that she sprouted, and she complimented on how beautiful she looks. So I was just like, yay. So I actually did bring her in with the wind that's going on outside, and hopefully with her staying inside for a little bit, maybe she'll regain her strength and just recuperate from the wind and the weather outside. The weather outside is frightful. So yeah. Oh, guess what I found? I found my marbles. I'm not crazy. So I'm really excited. When I found my marbles, I was just like, oh yay. I'm not crazy. So I'm really excited. Hook reference for those of you that didn't watch that other video. But yeah, that's it. All right, you guys have a good one.